Hi everyone, I'm Geoff Dragon, a Senior Associate here at Taylor Vinters, and I'm joined by the Chief Legal Intelligence Officer, Martin Davidson from ThoughtRiver. You may notice or remember Martin from some of our Zebra Project videos. Martin, can you tell us a little bit more about ThoughtRiver and the problems that it's trying to solve?
Sure, yeah. ThoughtRiver is what we call a pre-screening contract review technology. So you load up a contract, it tells you what's in it. So that's in its basic form what it does. So we sell our product to big corporates and law firms that are supporting big corporates in large-scale contract reviews.
And what's been the kind of biggest challenges that you face? I imagine the legal world is often one that gets bemoaned for being slow-paced and not really embracing the innovation. Is that something you've found yourselves?
Definitely. I mean, lawyers are by their nature. I'm a lawyer, so I can say this. Lawyers are conservative, they're deliberate, and in terms of a sales cycle, that always translates to a conversation which needs to be pretty involved. You've got to help them understand what this crazy new technology is doing, how it's going to help them, and work with them in a really kind of close sense to kind of just guide them through the process. So I guess as a lawyer it helps because I can kind of empathise and I know the challenges that they face. So that's made it a bit easier. But it's fair to say it's not been straightforward learning how to sell to lawyers, believe it or not.
And has the feedback, once the lawyers have tried it out and they've actually seen what it can do and how it can benefit them, what's the feedback been like from that perspective?
Yeah, I mean, that's been the most encouraging thing, I suppose. Everyone kind of innately believes in the challenge that's faced and can't quite believe there's a product that can support them on solving that challenge. So it's really great to kind of get the feedback and see customers using it and getting benefit from the product. So unusually, I guess, for a startup, we've managed to retain a high proportion of our customers, which is great. And yet we're very impatient, so we're trying to kind of evolve the product day in, day out, which creates a certain velocity to our activities, which makes for a relatively busy day. But I guess we're in the process now, kind of collecting as much feedback as we can from the customers that do engage and kind of keep making the product better and better.
And so you've mentioned kind of making the product better and evolving the product and the want and the desire to do that. As much as you're able to do so, kind of where do you see the product going from its kind of pre-screening contract pre-screening kind of application now, and how do you see that evolving?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I think the pre-screening capability actually has a lot of potential in terms of how it can be used, and I guess we're still pretty early in our development, and so we're not really looking at new products, so to speak, but in terms of how we would want to develop our own product, what we are almost certain will happen, you'll start to see our intelligence engine being used in numerous other third-party applications. So just to kind of bring that to life, most lawyers find it very difficult to engage with any new technology, let alone something that's dealing with machine learning. So at the moment they have to go into our application, upload their contract and get an output and then use it. So it's dealing with one very specific part of that workflow that a lawyer might be used to. So in the not too distant future, you'll start to see our intelligence and capability being seen in all manner of different guises used by corporates. So it might be where they actually physically work with a document, it might be in their contract management systems, it might be in data rooms that corporate lawyers use to review high volumes of contracts.
Yeah, perfect. And if you could have one bit of advice, to anyone who may be watching this and who's perhaps either an entrepreneur wanting to create a startup, or perhaps someone like yourself who actually has the opportunity to join a startup, but from their safe, secure job, kind of what advice would you give them from that perspective?
Yeah, a really good question. I would say think very carefully about it. I guess when I joined ThoughtRiver, as you say, I was in a pretty stable job working for a big company. I was earning well. I was actually really happy there. Why did I move? Good question. I think from a development perspective, I wanted to do something very different. And in the legal services market, I could see the market evolving rapidly, and I wanted to be part of that. I've always had a slightly disruptive streak about my nature. So for me, the thought of working for someone in a market that I was genuinely interested in, disrupting that market, was quite exciting. I guess what I didn't realise coming into it, I was probably a bit naive in understanding what it means to work for a startup. What do I mean by that? Well, I've already mentioned the kind of pace of activity and the level of change, which will happen in any startup, but in a company like ours, we're actually trying to create the market as well. That uncertainty is on another scale, and so you need to be pretty clear and confident about the vision that you've got, and because when things don't go quite as well as you want them to, you can fall back on that vision, and as long as you have confidence in where you're ultimately getting to, you can manage those day-to-day kind of challenges and issues much more easily. So yeah, do your due diligence. If you're going to a company that's creating a product, actually find out what the product does. Is it something that you believe in? Does it align with your value set and what you would buy? Because if you won't buy it, then it's likely that others may not as well.
Perfect. That's immensely valuable. Thank you very much, Martin. Thank you, ThoughtRiver, to allowing you to come and speak. And best of luck for the future.
Thanks, Geoff.
Thank you.